Have you ever finished a handyman job and then looked at the check that you got and thought to yourself,
is this really worth it?
Well, I got a secret for you. You are not the only one that has ever thought that. Pricing handyman jobs is one of the hardest things that you're ever gonna do, but there's actually a science to it, and we're gonna break that down here in this video, give you a lot of clarity and a lot of resources, and a lot of insight on some free tools that you can use to figure out what your hourly rate needs to be. So let's hop into it. All right, first things first, we gotta talk about the three factors of pricing. We're gonna talk about labor, which is really your hourly rate, billed hourly or billed by the job. And then you have materials, which include markup for supply runs. That's very important to remember. Then you have overhead. This includes things like insurance, fuel, tools, admin costs. And don't just guess on these, you have to track these numbers vigorously. So knowing your worth is a lot more than just, hey, I got a truck and some tools and I'm gonna go out and do the job. There's a lot more to pricing your handyman jobs than that. You need to figure out what your income goals are and what your expenses are and what your overhead is, and really figure out how much you need to make per hour, per day, per month, per year to not only survive, but actually thrive in this business. And by and large, a lot of handyman all around the world, they end up failing because they simply just forget about how much unbilled hours there are in the handyman business itself. A lot of handymen know how to actually do the physical work and the work side of the handyman business, but it's the business side of the handyman business that gets them really struggling. There's a lot of admin time, which it's hard to bill for, that's in the handyman industry that you need to figure out how to charge for. So one huge thing that I want to recommend to you is go to your bank, download the last 3 months of expenses, business expenses, and download those and get a bunch of highlighters and start highlighting expenses. You're gonna have green for fast food, you're gonna have yellow for insurance, you're gonna have red for whatever it is. And you're gonna need to document all the different aspects of your expenses in your handyman business. Then you're gonna figure out what your actual overhead is per month. And then you're gonna go on over to handymanjourney.com, and we have a handyman business hourly rate audit calculator that I want you guys to plug these numbers into. Plug in what your overhead is, how much you wanna make per year, how many billed hours you wanna work per year, and it will spit out an exact number of what you need to charge, not only to survive, but also thrive, how much profit you should be entering into that calculator. Another cool thing about that calculator is you can put in last month's numbers, how much gross revenue you actually brought in, how many materials you spent on, things like that. And it will tell you how you did last month. Were you charging enough? Do you need to charge more? Go to handymanjourney.com, check out that audit calculator. It's super, super beneficial. And another side tip on that audit calculator, don't just use it once. You gotta figure out what your hourly rate needs to be and then re-audit yourself every single month so you can figure out and make sure that you're making a profit month over month and year over year. And while you're at it at handymanjourney.com, go ahead and download our free ebook on the homepage. That is going to give you a lot of great resources as far as it goes to grow your handyman business and actually learn about the business side of the handyman business. The next thing you want to think about when it comes to pricing, and another great resource, is the Handyman Pricing Handbook. It goes really in depth on should you charge hourly or should you charge by the job. I recommend charging by the job for everything that you do, but there are those one-off occasions where charging hourly might make a little bit of sense. Maybe you're not exactly sure what's going on with that particular job and things like that. But charging by the job helps, because if you charge X amount to replace a garbage disposal when you first started out, and you're charging that same amount to replace that garbage disposal or hourly rate, you are now quicker on that garbage disposal, so you're actually making less money down the road. So it's more beneficial for you and cost effective for the client if you charge by the job for the project. The next thing you want to do is check local rates. What is the going rate for these particular handyman jobs in your local area? And this includes calling contractors, calling handyman, calling plumbers, maybe doing a little bit of research on the web. Figure out what people are charging for particular jobs in your area. What can your market bear? Can people pay you for what you need to make in your local area? One of the biggest things is make sure that you build in profit. The majority of handyman business owners end up failing because of lack of cash flow, because they just don't think about how much work actually goes into the handyman business. A lot of handyman business owners are really good at the physical side of things, how to actually do things, but they kind of lack in the handyman business side of things, the actual business side of the handyman business. And there's a lot of spent time in that is really hard to bill for. So you need to factor that into your overhead and expenses. A bonus tip that I want to give you is create and use constantly, daily, a price list for yourself. It doesn't matter what someone in New York is charging to replace a faucet. It doesn't matter what someone in San Diego, California is charging to replace a faucet. It matters what you need to charge to replace a faucet. So you need to create yourself a price list that is a running, living document. And the way that you do it is you list out every single job that you want to do. And that's an important aspect too, a topic for another video, but what type of work do you actually want to focus on? And what type of work do you actually want to do? The last video I made was actually talking about the top 5 most profitable handyman jobs. I'm going to link that up here if you are interested in that. But right now we are talking about creating a price list. So list out all the jobs you want to do: ceiling fans, faucets, light fixtures, garbage disposals, etc. And then how long those jobs are going to take you, and then multiply that by your hourly rate. And have that sheet with you every time you are estimating a job. And when you finish up a job, go back to that price list and edit the amount of time. If it took you longer, if it took you shorter, edit that in there so that you can have a living, growing document that is always up to date. If this content in this video has helped you out at all, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. I love to hear crazy stories. So if you could drop me a crazy story in the comment of a job where you just super underbid a handyman job, I would absolutely love to hear it. Also, other handyman here would love to hear it as well. And if you haven't joined us yet over on Facebook, we have a private Facebook community called the Handyman Journey Mastermind Group on Facebook. There's over 14,000 members in that group, and they're just waiting for you to join and bring your expertise there. So if you have any questions at all, I would absolutely love to help you. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. And you can set up a free call with me over at handymanjourney.com/coaching. And don't forget to download your free ebook at handymanjourney.com. We look forward to building your business smarter and more profitable. Have a great day, everybody.